Hello, my name is Oliver and I'm a trans guy who just came back home to cold Sweden after 2 epic weeks in India. I have been fortunate to both see beautiful places and meet a bunch of amazing queer people who have agreed to share their stories with me and my camera. In this video you're going to meet Samrat, who is going to talk about grieving the death of his partner. But since he's not open to his family, you're not going to see his face in the video.
Hello, my name is Dr Samrat. I'm a dental surgeon. I'm 28-year-old. I live in New Delhi, India. I'm a gay man. I wanted to speak about the first love of my life. So we actually met on a dating app. After speaking for 1 week or so, we decided to meet. Till that time, I did not know what, love at first sight means. When we met, there was this whole, like in the movies, they have that electricity that surges through you. And, I felt that when I saw him, there was all this mist around me and clouds around me that suddenly just moved away. And everything was so clear. It was so magical.
They dated for a few months and slowly fell in love with each other. And a little over a year ago, it was his birthday.
I invited him over to my place and I decorated this whole room with balloons, streamers, a happy birthday poster, and there was this beautiful cake and so many other things were there that he liked. That he was a Japanese translator by profession, so I took one help of my friend who knows Japanese to write this whole card in Japanese, and his favorite color was violet, so I wrote everything in violet and purple color, and that was the theme of the whole decoration. At the end of this birthday celebration, I took him to another corner of my house. I blindfolded him and took him, and then I got down on one knee and I read out this beautiful love letter to him, and I asked him that, will you be my boyfriend, because we were just dating till then and nothing was official. And then he started crying and then he said yes, and it was such a beautiful and magical night. But unfortunately, that birthday was the last birthday that we celebrated together.
Because he had been feeling a bit sick, they had gotten some tests done.
A week before his birthday, we had gotten this diagnosis that he was HIV positive. And at that time, he was unsure whether I want to date him or not. And that is the reason why I wanted to celebrate his birthday that well and show him that, this diagnosis doesn't affect the equation between us. Because in today's time and today's day and year, HIV is not a disease that someone cannot live with.
But unfortunately, he started feeling worse, and after 2 weeks, he was admitted to the hospital with a lung condition. Samrat stayed with him in the hospital and helped him with everything from cleaning to combing his hair to feeding him. But no one, except himself and Samrat, knew about his HIV status.
He was not able to communicate it to the doctors or to his family that he was HIV positive because he wanted to keep it under the wraps. I was always requesting him to tell it because it was affecting his treatment in the hospital. There's so much stigma with HIV in our country, and I think in our world that a person is not able to speak about it. The doctors eventually did the HIV test and they found out about it, and then they confronted him, and even then he didn't tell his family, but he was struggling at that time, and the doctors found out that we're partners. The doctors asked me to get tested. I got tested. I came out as negative. It seemed that he had gotten this disease from a long time. It had progressed so much. He was able to track it down to one of his exes.
After 10 days in the hospital, he started feeling better and was sent home. And Samrat stayed with him and continued to care for him.
At this time, a lot of my friends, no, they were not that much aware that his condition is so severe, and I was not able to talk about it with anyone about his diagnosis at that time. I lost a lot of friends because a lot of people thought that I got a partner, so I'm just lost in, my partner, but they didn't realize at that time that how sick my partner was.
After 10 days at home, he had gotten so bad that he couldn't recognize anyone around him and couldn't talk about anything else than his own name. So he was again admitted to a hospital. At the same time, Samrat's father fell and broke a few of his ribs and punctured his lung. and he ended up in the same hospital.
My partner was on 6th floor and my father was on 7th floor. I used to stay all the time in the hospital, going down to see my partner, then going to see my father. It just sounds like it's out of some movie, but this horror happened with me. Only I know how I have lived through it.
Eventually, his father was sent home.
That day morning, I remember I went to see my partner. He said that he will eat kheer. Kheer is an Indian dessert that is made with milk and rice. So I was feeding him that kheer, and while I was feeding him that kheer, he went into a seizure. He went into a total seizure and his eyes were not working. The doctors came and the doctors shifted him to the ICU. That was the last sane version I saw of him.
Samrat wants to explain more about what HIV and AIDS is.
We have something called as CD4 cells in our body. I'm telling this because people out in the world need to know about this. People are not aware how serious this is. CD4 cells are a type of cells in our body that help you to fight with any kind of organism that comes in your body. Anything, any normal infection, right? What happens in HIV is once this organism enters your body, the CD4 cells start getting targeted and they start getting deteriorated. Because of this, the immunity goes down. Over a period of 8 to 10 years, the CD4 count goes extremely low. A normal person's CD4 count will be around 1000 to 1400. As soon as you get diagnosed with this disease, the doctors will start a medication after doing the tests. If you do not start the medication on time, the CD4 cells keep going down. It hits critical when it goes 600 or below, and it becomes severely critical when it goes below 200. That's when you are diagnosed with AIDS. AIDS means acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Means now your immune system is completely damaged, and we have something called as opportunistic infections. It's not HIV that kills someone, it's these opportunistic infections. In our body, we have these good bacteria, in our gut called commensals. Commensals are good bacteria that are existing in our body because we need those bacteria to function. But when the immunity is so low, these commensals get an opportunity to attack us. That is why it becomes opportunistic infection, and then they attack us so badly that they go to our brain, they go to our lungs, they go to different parts of our body and they damage us. That is what happened in my partner's case. He got this disease around 8 to 10 years ago from his ex, and he never got tested. And the infection spread so low. A normal CD4 person's count is around 1000 to 1200. AIDS is diagnosed at 200. His CD4 count was 10.
Tragically, he passed away after a few days in the ICU.
I was the one who was called into the ICU the day he passed away. Because his family was living so far, I went in the ICU, and in front of me, his ECG went flat. Like the doctors were trying to revive him, his ECG, all his vitals went zero, and his skin was so cold. I have never felt that kind of cold skin ever. It was horrible to see that happen in front of me. Next day morning, we took his body. It's so surreal to call him body. His mortal remains to his home, and everyone had gathered, people were crying, and then we had to make this stretcher to carry the body around the neighborhood and to look at his lifeless version. That is an experience I think nobody in this world should have to go through. Someone that you imagined your life with. He was my life's first love. After making his body ready to go around the neighborhood, we had to carry him. In Hinduism, we have to carry it on our shoulders. I never thought that I will have to go through this, because nobody thinks they will have to go through this. The person you love, you're carrying them, their lifeless version on your shoulder and walking around the neighborhood where they grew up in. It's a horrific experience. After that, we took him to the cremation ground, and his father was telling me to help making the funeral pyre and to set up those sticks and all for getting it ready to burn, and then setting the fire and seeing it burn. It was I did not want to leave that place. They pulled me out forcibly, that I don't know, some stupid rules of Hinduism that you can't see the soul burning. It was horrible.
Samrat came back home to his parents, who didn't know that they had been a couple. To them, they had just been friends.
The next few days were so depressing. I used to just stay in my bed in my room all the time, not move, not do anything, not speak with anyone, not get out, not meet anyone, not eat properly. My brain did not have the capacity to do anything. My brain was still stuck in that shock, was still processing that grief. Grief is such a personal experience, and there is nobody to talk to. My parents think that he was just a friend. Every day from morning, my mom will start taunting me that he was just a friend, you have to live your life, your father needs you, your father was sick, your father was admitted in hospital, your friend has gone away, your father is still here, he was also sick, he was in the same hospital. They're not understanding because they just don't know. They just think that it's a friend. They don't understand that it was a person that, I wanted to live my life with. I chose to live my life with.
Samrat needed help to get through this terrible time.
I started going to therapy. My therapist started helping me deal with this. Part of the reason why I wanted to speak about all of this is because we don't speak about this. Grief in our community is very unique. Sometimes people are in closet. People think that it's just a friend, or there's different kinds of pressures. The family of the person who passed away, they do not know their son's sexuality, and they'll think you're just a friend. They won't understand your grief to that extent, but they don't understand that this kind of an event impacts a person like me for life. I cannot forget that person till my death.
It was really difficult for Samrat to find resources on how to deal with his grief.
When I looked for resources online, there was just one small page, half a paragraph of what to do. That's it. There is no resources globally for grief in our community. Even therapists are not trained to deal with this. And you go on any social media, Instagram, Facebook, any LGBT page that you come across, not a single page speaks about grief in our community. Everybody likes to talk about, oh, there is this soulmate, oh, there is this one love, oh, there is this love. What do you do if they leave this world? Nobody speaks about it. I don't know why people don't speak. I want to start a conversation on this. We need support groups. We need people of the LGBT community to stand up for each other, to be there for each other. People feel so alone, and I don't know currently as I am speaking how many more people in this world are silently suffering through this. I was lucky to find another partner. My current partner helped me. He's the reason that I was able to get out of my extreme stages of grief, because I met him. He's the reason because of which I got out of this. I'm extremely grateful that I got a partner who understands that I can never forget my first love. He understands that he will be my last love, but my first love is someone else, and I cannot let go of that person. Not everyone is so lucky, and not everyone gets the same resources. Not everyone gets a safe community of friends to help you express. Not everyone gets access to therapy, and that is the reason why we need to speak about it.
Samrat has also found a way of honoring his partner's memory.
In order to honor my partner, this year on his birthday, I went with two of my friends. We went to this orphanage. That orphanage works with kids who are HIV positive. My friends printed these two big photos of my partner, and we went with a cake and we celebrated with those kids. And those kids cut the cake, and there was the photo of my partner in front, and we celebrated. We sang with those kids, we ate cake, we spent some time with those kids, we did some minor donation to that center. And now every year on his birthday, I'm going to go and spend some time and celebrate his birthday every year with those kids.
And lastly, a final message from Samrat.
Stay safe, get tested, and look out for your friends, look out for people who may need support. If someone is down, don't judge them, don't leave them when they need you. And if someone out there who is going through the grief that I went through, and if they are watching this video, please know that the love who went away was not the last love of your life. I'm sure you will find someone else. The person who left would not want you to stay sad for the rest of your life, they would want you to find someone else and stay happy. That does not mean if you find someone else that you will forget them. They will be in your memory for the rest of your life. But it's important that you find someone and stay happy. It is not the end of the world. I was lucky enough to find someone. If I can find someone, then you can also find someone. So.
If you enjoyed watching that video, please like, comment, subscribe and share the video. I really appreciate you showing your love in that way. If you also want to support the channel financially, that's possible via Patreon, but really no pressure. See you next time.